You've tuned in to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
You realize what you've done?
With Rich Liebig.
The real gangster plays his cards, right?
And Michael Costanzo.
What was that you just read?
Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news.
Good times, noodle salad.
The point is, you now have the ability to be happy.
And now, here's Rich and Mike on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Woo! Yeah! How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
It's time for this week's episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you the most juicy bits of world sports, entertainment, odd news, and what else we happen to stumble across. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right. We bring it to you with our unique sense of humor and wackiness. You never know what you're going to get here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
That's right. We have some topics in sports, entertainment, and odd news, but that doesn't mean we won't go off the beaten path, go into uncharted territory, talk about random things.
Yeah.
We do everything here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah. Skippy. Who's Skippy?
Skippy peanut butter. What kind of peanut butter do you like?
I was more of a Jif guy.
Really?
Yeah, I like Jif. Creamy Jif.
Okay. Do you like chunky peanut butter at all?
No, more of a creamy. I would rather go creamy than chunky.
Okay, where do you stand?
Boy, this is an example of where we're going right here off the bat.
Look, you never know what you're going to get here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. When I say that,
it's not like we have 10 million things happening in sports. But go ahead, let's talk about peanut butter.
I think peanut butter is what people want to know about. Okay, like if they've been here this long, they're already prepared for this.
Okay.
So I like Skippy. Now, where do you stand on the natural peanut butter trend?
No, just
no.
I don't know. I mean, not for me.
I don't like the way it's so liquidy.
Yeah, no. I'd rather stick to my GIF.
Yeah, like
GIF, whatever.
GIF, Skippy.
Now I'm getting confused with animated GIFs.
Now, do you say GIF or GIF?
It's GIF, right?
The creator says it's actually pronounced GIF. I say it's GIF because G and I make a G sound. And also, graphics are G.
Right, the G in it represents graphics.
You say GIF, you're a sociopath.
Shouldn't it? Well, all right, I didn't know that.
No, I'm kidding.
But it should be GIF then, right? Because
I
don't know.
I feel like it should be GIF. The creator says it's GIF.
Wow, we're hitting hard-hitting topics right off the bat. Wow.
Solving all the world's problems here in the first few minutes.
All right, well, yeah, not really what I was going for right off the bat here. Peanut butter and animated GIFs or whatever. But
I threw you for a loop this week.
Yes, you did. But let's get into some TV reviews. I hear you've been watching a Philadelphia-based show.
Yeah. So on ABC, there's this show Abbot Elementary that is basically like if you took something like Parks and Rec and put it in an underfunded inner city school in Philadelphia, and you're following second-year teachers. It is so funny because these second-year teachers are so enthusiastic and optimistic, and the other teachers and the staff and the kids are just giving them the hardest time of their lives. But what I really appreciate, there's the one character in particular that is a South Philly Italian, okay?
Okay.
And the things that she says and the way that she says them and the references to Philadelphia and South Philly are so funny. In this last episode I watched, the one character says, "Oh, I love that Southern Philly culture," and she goes, "South Philly."
Yeah, wait, Southern Philly?
Southern Philly, yeah. And she corrects him, South Philly.
That's absolutely right. It's never called Southern Philly.
Yeah, so it was just funny. He goes, "I really appreciate how you guys park wherever you want down there." So Jordan and I got a kick out of it. So there's like actual references to Philadelphia.
That's everywhere in Philadelphia. That's not just South Philly.
I know.
That's everywhere.
The one teacher had on the blackboard, they were doing vocab and they were doing like Philadelphia slang. So there's John and Bull and like old head and like all these like words. And so I really hope people appreciate, outside this area, appreciate that type of humor. Because
I hope so.
I want the show to continue. It's really funny, very heartwarming, great balance of. It strikes me like a combination between like a Parks and Rec and something like heartwarming, like a Modern Family. So
get that
John, yeah. So I say go check it out. It's got the makings of something special if it's allowed to continue and really build on itself and keep that regional humor. So
all right, I also heard they had Action News on there with Jim Gardner.
They did the one episode, and they were all talking about how the one teacher was like, oh, like talking about how handsome he is, and she wants to, do stuff with Jim Gardner. I was like,
oh baby, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's really, really funny. I really highly recommend the show.
That Jim Gardner.
I think everybody sort of has a little bit of a crush on Jim Gardner.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
The man knows how to report news.
Yeah,
That's
that
all I'm saying.
mustache.
That mustache.
That mustache gets people going.
Exactly. But Rich, what's getting you going these days?
Yeah. So my TV show recommendation for our introduction here is HBO's Landscapers.
Okay, what's that?
It is essentially a docudrama, but it's actually based on a true story about a couple in the UK that they buried a body.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I don't know,
Wow.
They were
a body that they killed?
Yes.
Okay. Because you said a body, and I'm like, was it their body?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give too much of it away.
Okay, gotcha.
But basically, they're like this elder, not elderly because they're not elder, but they're like older. They're like in their mid-50s or so.
So like a couple you don't expect to be committing murder and burying bodies.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's based on a true story. So
interesting. This is on HBO?
Yeah, it's on HBO. It's only like 4 episodes, but
perfect.
It's a great thing to just bang out and you enjoy, and
everybody loves true crime.
Yeah, and you can't believe like this was a true thing that happened.
Wow.
So it was definitely and also like the way it was shot, it kind of plays like with the couple's descriptions of what happened.
Okay.
Because they get to a point, very loose spoiler. This is not too much of a spoiler, but eventually they get questioned. They get brought in and questioned,
right?
And they're willing to comply with the cops,
right?
But they tell their side of the story,
right?
So really, the question of the show is like, whose side are you actually willing to believe? Their side, or what the detectives have been going through, and what their interviews have produced and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it blurs the line between, fact and fiction, between what actually happened. It's really well shot, well stylized, and overall just an interesting story. So definitely check it out. And again, you can knock it out. It's only 4 episodes.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I love stuff like that. So
well, you'll love this then, because this is definitely keeps your attention. You're just like, wow. And the good part is at the end of the episode, stick around for the credits, because they try to map some of the identical news footage from when it actually happened to what they shot.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's an interesting little parallel they do at the end at the end during the credits.
Okay.
So, highly recommend HBO's Landscapers if you're into true crime.
Awesome.
But for right now, let's put TV on pause right now. We'll get to entertainment in a little bit. But right now, sports has to barrel through its way. The Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
I would just like to point out before we get the ball rolling on Sports Sampler.
Okay.
Everything has happened the past week in the football world.
Yes.
Like just everything. And I think we need to take a breath here. We're about to do a 2-minute drill. Usually that's like a fun topic or something that's like important but not too important. Wait till you hear what the 2-minute drill is that we're going to cover. So what is it, Mike?
All right, well, the 2-minute drill, I know I'm realizing now the ridiculousness of this, but the 2-minute drill, NFL legend and greatest of all time quarterback Tom Brady has officially retired from the NFL.
Tom Brady has announced his retirement, and we're putting it in the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, but weirdly, there wasn't a lot of fanfare around it.
Yeah, I mean...
You know what it was? What happened was there was a lot of rumors, and then it was he's not retiring, then maybe he's retiring. But it is official now that after 22 years, he is officially retiring from the NFL. And this is, like you said, a huge story that really shouldn't be in the 2-minute drill because it marks the end of undoubtedly one of the greatest football careers that fans may ever see. So he holds countless records, 22 seasons in the NFL, 10 Super Bowl appearances. He won 7 of them. He amassed over 84,000 passing yards, 624 touchdowns, both NFL all-time records by a wide margin. He made 15 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro teams, and 5 Super Bowl MVP awards. He's appeared in 47 playoff games. The NFL only plays 4 playoff games a year.
You know, some of these NFL teams don't even come close to 47 playoff games.
Some of them don't even have like 10% of that.
Yes.
He did that by himself, and in addition to that, he in the regular season, he was second only to Peyton Manning in game-winning drives and in fourth-quarter comebacks. The playoffs and the league won't be the same without him. This is really a historic moment in the NFL. I don't think we'll ever see a player like him ever again.
No, this is the end of an era.
Yeah.
This is huge news to hit the NFL wire. But it is kind of expected. I mean, he was pushing 45.
Yeah.
It was like, how far can he keep going with this?
He said 45. He basically made it.
Yeah, basically did. And he goes out still MVP quality.
Yeah.
I mean, what more could you want? Yeah, he led the league in passing this year.
There was never a decline in his
Right.
play. Like, it's so weird. Like, usually, you look at a Big Ben, right?
He had to be hobbled off of the field.
Right, and it's not to take anything away from Big Ben, except take everything away from him. But Tom Brady never saw a decline in his play like that. Every time people were like, oh, he's slowing down, he comes back and he wins the Super Bowl, at like, what was it, 43?
Yeah, so
like,
it's a shame that with everything going on, this is kind of being put on the back burner, but it kind of makes sense because we were kind of expecting it. There were rumors that he was going to announce his retirement, so, that's kind of why we chose to make that a 2-minute drill topic.
Right.
But if this was any other normal week of news, I think this would have been
this would have been the topic.
Segment. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? The one thing about Tom Brady retiring, and this sort of segues into the next topic, is it does leave room in the playoffs for new teams. And that leads us into this next topic here, talking about the NFL Conference Championship games, because we have some really exciting teams competing in this year's upcoming Super Bowl.
Yep. It is going to be the Rams versus the some team called Bengals. What is this? Bengals?
That's right. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
Have made the Super Bowl. They shocked the world. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Down 21-3 at halftime.
Oh, yeah, came raging back.
And won it in overtime. That's the sound of all Kansas City fans jumping off the bandwagon.
That's amazing.
Right there. So, wow. We were watching this game live.
We watched it live.
And the first half, it just looked like it was all Kansas City all the time. It looked like it was going to be an easy cakewalk for Patrick Mahomes to return to the Super Bowl. And then it all started with a failed drive to close out the first half.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. Because when we were watching the game, I turned to you and I said, that could be a momentum swing right there.
Yeah, that was a momentum swing.
It was a momentum swing.
Yeah.
Well, looking back in hindsight. But, I mean, they
should have went up 28-3 at that point.
Right, exactly.
Or at least kick a field goal 24-3.
And that's the thing that was crazy. They left with no points.
Yep.
Not even a field goal. And look at the score, guys.
That would have prevented overtime.
That would have prevented overtime. Yeah.
It
was just...
it's one of those things, it sounds like a stupid strategy, but sometimes you got to take points when you just get them.
Right.
Here's
the you're up, like you said, 21
to 3.
I guess to 3 at the time. You could have pushed that lead. Instead, they got greedy. They wanted 28 instead of going up 24-3.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot in the moment, but that changed the game right there.
Yeah.
Because not only did they sacrifice points, but they went into halftime, on that down note. Then Cincinnati gets the ball back. They score 11 points in the third quarter, screaming back against the Chiefs, hold them to 0 in the third, and then, they each kick a field goal in the fourth to tie it up and go into overtime. Just unbelievable.
Yep, the wheels just came off on this Kansas City team. I would say this might be the worst loss of Andy Reid's career for all the playoffs, all the playoff losses he's been through, both with Philly and Kansas City. I mean, this just seemed one he absolutely should have had. And for it to slip through his fingertips like this.
I mean, the Kansas City's way more talented than the Bengals.
Yeah. That was the sound of
that was the
team
sound of
falling out of Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes. I agree about saying that's the worst loss of Andy Reid's playoff career, because there were some times with the Eagles where he was clearly outmatched or evenly matched. Like against the Bucs. The Bucs had like one of the best defenses that year. Played against the greatest show on turf. Who else did he?
Panthers. That was a bad one.
The Panthers was a bad one, but he also didn't go up 21-3.
Right.
Like this is the thing. So the teams that he played with the Eagles, they were either equally matched or better than him, or he never had a commanding lead like that. Remember, he also had wide receivers like Todd Pinkston.
Yeah, he is having Tyreek Hill.
He had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and decent running backs. As Patrick Mahomes, probably, if Tom Brady hadn't set all those crazy records, Patrick Mahomes could have been the next Tom Brady. There's really no reason he should lose this game.
No. This is definitely a dark cloud to add to his playoff resume.
Can I make a bold prediction here?
Yeah.
The Chiefs' window is rapidly closing.
That is interesting. So how about we play this game? Is that an overreaction? I don't think it's an overreaction.
You sent me Patrick Mahomes' cap figures.
Yes.
Tell me and everyone what they're going to be next year.
So in 2021, Patrick Mahomes' cap hit was $7 million.
That's super reasonable for a superstar quarterback. That's like a bargain.
Yep.
And next year?
Next year in 2022, it jumps all the way up to $36 million.
Do you think you keep a Travis Kelce, a Tyreek Hill, and a Patrick Mahomes when one person's eating $36 million?
That's a salary cap guy going out now.
I saw an interesting post. I saw an interesting post on Reddit. Yeah.
Don't you just love how one by one we're all sending everybody out the window?
We're sending everybody out this window.
Everybody else is, yep.
So I saw an interesting post on Reddit. Somebody made a graphic of the Super Bowls since Tom Brady's been in the league. 8 of them were Brady on his second contract. And 13 quarterbacks to appear in these last 20-some years of Super Bowls were on rookie contracts.
Yep.
13 of 40 appearances, 20 years of Super Bowls, 2 quarterbacks, 1 on each side. 13 of them were on rookie contracts. 11 were decent vets playing lights out, like Flacco, Eli, Foles.
Yes.
Only 8 quarterbacks in the past 40 Super Bowl quarterbacks, 2 each year for 20 years, were not Brady and on a second contract or later. They are Peyton Manning twice and Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and what's his name? Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, there you go.
Because in this list, he's listed as something else. So I forgot his name.
Old Ben What's-His-Face.
Old Ben What's-His-Face. So...
yeah.
The trend, what I'm trying to get here is that the trend is if you're not Brady and you're not punching above your weight, you need to be on a rookie contract.
Yeah, you're just pouring too much money if you have a superstar quarterback. Because obviously, there you go. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to eat $36 million of, $200 million cap room?
Right, and the Chiefs already barely have a defense.
So that's already 18% of...
yeah,
your salary cap.
And how do you think
player.
you keep a player like Tyrann Mathieu on defense?
Yeah,
right.
They all eat.
They're all going to eat at that salary cap, and it really is tough when you have one player making that much. Now, that's not to say the Chiefs won't be good; they'll be good, but
will they make a deep run in the playoffs?
Will they be as dominant and as threatening as they have been the past 2 or 3 years? I don't think so.
Yeah. And also now, after this loss, it's going to show that, hey, Patrick Mahomes can be defeated in the second half.
He can easily be defeated.
So get away from the salary cap, just actual mental stature, mental feeling, mental stature. He's now beatable in the second half.
The thing is, he's always been beatable. They had a very not pedestrian, but they had a very, reasonable 12-5 record. He lost this season.
Yeah.
Several times. The Bengals beat him twice.
Twice in last month.
And everybody didn't think the Bengals were serious. 10-7. What's that? That's nothing.
Well, it is now because the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow in his sophomore year.
What did I say about rookie contracts?
There you go. Yeah, he's making his presence known. if he does pull this off, he would be the first person ever to win the Heisman Trophy, the college football championship, and then a Super Bowl. Nobody's ever done all three.
I think he's got a shot. I mean, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But I think he's got a shot.
Well, in order to do that, he's got to face the NFC champion, the Los Angeles Rams. We also watched this as the Rams pulled off a narrow victory over their division rival, the San Francisco 49ers, to make it to their second Super Bowl in 5 years. They're doing it. This is the team that went all in on this season. They decided to trade away all their draft picks. The future is now. They're going all in, and here they are representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's incredible. It did not look like they were going to win this game.
It did look a little rough.
I mean, we were watching it, and we're going, man, San Fran might do this. At one point, they were up 17-7. Not a commanding lead, but all of a sudden you're thinking...
In an NFC Championship game.
I'm like, oh, boy. I mean, like the way their defense was playing, there was one point where their one defensive back almost had an interception that would have ended the game.
Yeah.
I think he picks that off, that game, it changes the momentum.
The probability of winning definitely shoots to 80-90%.
Yeah, exactly. The Rams come back and score 13 points in the fourth quarter to seal the win.
Yeah, clutch.
I mean, so clutch. San Fran must have been getting winded and tired. It was such a big defensive battle. I mean, just back and forth. Like, for long stretches of time, nothing was happening. It was very defensive type football. But I love the story of Matt Stafford.
I do too. I think this game really showed that this whole playoff run has shown that Matthew Stafford, he was being slept on in Detroit. Everyone kind of forgot about him because the Detroit Lion organizations, they don't go anywhere. So
right.
Sorry, you're the lead quarterback of a ship that's not going anywhere. But accepted this change, got on board with this trade, and went off to greener pastures, and now he's in the Super Bowl. Exactly 1 year to the date, by the way. The trade was announced 1 year to the date.
Wow, that's amazing.
So how do you like that for fortunes changing?
Detroit sucks.
Yeah. That's what goes to show.
Literally, you take this guy who's played his entire career in Detroit up to this point, give him a change of scenery, immediately makes the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What have they been doing for 10 years?
Nothing.
And it's not like they haven't had high draft picks. They had Calvin Johnson. They had every single year they're missing the playoffs. They're getting decent draft picks. Nothing to show for it.
Nothing to help him out with. So there you go. He's finally getting the help that he deserves. And now he's in the Super Bowl. I know next week is when we do our official predictions, but I'm going to give the folks out there a little betting advice, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
If you like the LA Rams in this Super Bowl matchup, I would suggest you go to your sports book, check it out, and probably lay a bet now. I personally am liking the Rams in this matchup. I'll get more into the actual X's and O's next week when we do our official prediction with the music and everything. But for all of you gamblers out there, I would say if you like the LA Rams, I think you better bet sooner than later because I feel like money's going to come in on the LA side and will further extend the point spread. Right now it's at 4. So I think if you get 4, I think now is your time to accept it, lay the 4 points, and cross your fingers and hope you pull it off.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you like the Bengals, if you really think the Bengals are going to pull it off, then
hold off.
Yeah, then I think you're in a good spot because then you can wait till actual Super Bowl day and probably get a better better number on your point spread.
Yeah.
But if you are a fan of the LA Rams, like I am in this matchup, I think your window's closing. You got to do it right now.
Oh, there you
A
go.
little bit of gambling advice for you.
Get in contact with your bookies as fast as you can.
Yes.
This is going to be a good game.
Yep.
It's going to be a really good game. Can't wait to talk about it more next week.
Right. I know. Yeah. Usually we do all that stuff next week, but because time
I want to talk about
a factor,
it. Yeah.
Time. I was worried because time may be a factor on that.
You got to get the gambling news out there.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Breaking news. All right. It's very important.
That's right.
Speaking of breaking news.
Oh boy.
This is this came on my news feed and. Boy, I had to text Mike right away. I was just like, we got to add this to the show as well. Because now the NFL, in the middle of their big Super Bowl hype, and Everything good. They're going to get a nasty meatball here thrown their way in the form of a lawsuit as former head coach Brian Flores officially sues the NFL for racial discrimination. This is an awkward story to hear. I mean, I couldn't believe this when I read the story, but it sounds too weird to be made up. This sounds like this is true. Brian Flores was a head coach of the Miami Dolphins. They went something like 7-10, 8-9, somewhere around there.
Here I have the actual. So during his tenure, are you asking?
Last season I was.
Last season he was 9-8.
Oh, they actually finished with a winning. They fired him with a winning record.
During Flores' tenure, the Dolphins went 5-11, then 10-6, and then 9-8.
Oh my God! Why?
So I guess that kind of adds fuel to the fire here.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah. The more you think about it, and I have some juicy tidbits here as well as I'm reading this article.
Yeah. So anyway, former head coach Brian Flores of the Miami Dolphins gets fired this year, and still putting on. At some point this year, he had a 7-game winning streak too, so he's got some credibility. It wasn't like he got fired because he was messing things up atrociously. He had a pretty good career record as a head coach. So he was going to take an interview with the New York Giants because the New York Giants are looking for a new head coach. And before he gets into his interview, he gets a text from Bill Belichick, of all people, who says, "Congratulations on getting the Giants head coaching job." And Brian Flores, he goes, "I didn't even have my interview yet." At which point he asked Belichick, which person did you mean the text? And that's when Bill Belichick admits that he was trying to text Brian Daboll, not Brian Flores, to congratulate him on getting the head coaching job before Flores even had his actual interview with the New York Giants. Now, what makes this even worse is that Brian Flores, as an African-American, the New York Giants had to interview him or some African-American so that they can comply with the Rooney Rule, which states you have to at least interview one potential applicant of a minority.
Right.
So it's designed to encourage minority hiring for head coaching gigs. But clearly, this is not working. This is now just smoke and mirrors to fulfill.
It's really upsetting because, they're just checking a box. It's basically what Flores calls at times in the lawsuit a quote-unquote sham interview, because that's exactly what it is. They made their decision, and then they're just going to interview this guy because he's a minority. He goes on to state in other parts of the lawsuit, talks about the Denver Broncos, interviewing with them. And he said that they showed up an hour later than his interview was scheduled, quote, looking completely disheveled, as if the group was drinking heavily the night before. So he's implying that was also a sham interview, that there was it was just kind of there to tick the boxes, that they weren't anticipating him to be a serious candidate. He alleges in other parts of the lawsuit that, I don't know, you're probably going to want to get into this a little bit, but that he was asked to tank games.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
for the Dolphins.
This sounds like something you would do.
I would. And so, story aside, I would absolutely intentionally tank games as an NFL head coach if the owner was offering to pay me $100,000 for each loss. But here's the thing, because would he have asked
a white coach to do
that? Furthermore, listen to this. The lawsuit also alleges that the owner asked him to recruit a prominent unidentified quarterback in violation of the league's tampering rules. So Flores refused to do so. So he alleges that he was cast as the, quote, angry black man who was, quote, non-compliant and difficult to work with, resulting in his termination as head coach. So would they have asked a white coach to do these things? Or are they just using him as a fall guy, or think that he would just comply? He also says that, there's 32 owners in the NFL. None of them are minority. 70% of the league.
How about right now, there's only one black head coach?
There's only one black head coach out of 32 head coaches. There's 0 minority owners out of 32 owners. And 70% of the league are African American. So how do you figure those statistics that, everybody in positions of power are white, and the vast majority of the league, not 51%, not 52%, 70% are African American. That's not even including other minorities. This creates a huge and unbalanced disparity in power.
Yes, this is going to be a huge problem for the NFL.
Right.
This is especially right on the heels of Black History Month too.
I think it's perfect timing for this lawsuit to become public.
This is bad news for the NFL all around.
Bad news for the NFL, but props to coaches and
unfortunately,
minority players.
Props to Brian Flores, but unfortunately, this is going to be detrimental. I don't think he gets a job after this. He's now willing to air everyone's dirty laundry. That's blackballing 101 right here. This is how you don't get a job anymore.
It's really sad, but you're absolutely right. I mean, given the statistics we just mentioned, 31 white head coaches, 32 white owners, he's probably not going to get hired again. And it really sucks, but this is something that needed to come to light. And that's what he says here, quote, shine a light on the racial injustices that take place inside the NFL. That was released as a statement by the law firm representing Flores. So, he's fighting the good fight. Unfortunately, it's going to cost him his career probably. Just like
which is a
Colin
shame.
Colin Kaepernick when he decided that he needed to take a stand for other reasons.
So, a lot of people are saying that this is like the new Kaepernick. But here's something else too: is like Kaepernick, he was, he did his political message and everything like that, and he was, in his prime of his career. But you do have a limit to how long you can play. So you're probably like he probably could have played 5, 7, 10 seasons.
You're saying that he was sacrificing a handful of seasons. Flores is sacrificing potentially decades of a career. Yeah.
Brian Flores, especially with the resume he had put together in Miami, he could have had a long, fruitful career as, maybe not a head coach, but definitely coordinator, definitely special assistant coaching.
Yeah.
Like, he really could have had a long career in the NFL, and he's thrown it all away. But for good reason, because this does need to be addressed.
Absolutely.
I feel like this is more of a bigger sacrifice than Kaepernick.
I think it is a bigger sacrifice than Kaepernick because you're right. Kaepernick has... See, here's the thing. Head coaches don't normally get sponsorship deals with apparel companies and stuff. So I'm not to say Colin Kaepernick, his sacrifice was, not significant. It was, but he's had other avenues. Whereas for a head coach, what else is Flores going to do?
Yeah, his backup now is either the coach college or coach USFL when that launches.
I can see there being some colleges that would extend an invitation for him to coach, and he'd probably be welcomed with open arms in the college coaching sphere. But in the NFL, unfortunately,
the NFL he's done.
I think the owners now, they're all getting together in their little secret, dungeon lair, and they're, already finding ways to make sure he doesn't get hired, and it really sucks.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, and he's absolutely right that this is something that needs to come to light. And it's amazing that they filed the suit on the first day of Black History Month. I mean, this is
very appropriate.
You got to hit the NFL where it hurts in its image.
Yeah, and this is not going to be a good look for them, especially as they're trying to ramp up for the Super Bowl. And
I love it. I love the timing. From like a PR perspective, it's a disaster for them.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the NFL responds to this meatball of a lawsuit. This is a topic that won't go away.
No, it can't just be swept away quietly. I mean, this is a head coach, like we point out, he had 2 back-to-back winning seasons.
With a dysfunctional franchise.
With a dysfunctional franchise. Who's their quarterback? I don't even know. Is it Tua still?
Yeah, it's still Tua.
Like, he's not good.
The faith has been shaken in Tua.
And who'd they have before that? Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic. Yep.
So you're not exactly giving him the building blocks. They keep on making weird trades with the Houston Texans.
Probably Deshaun Watson's coming over there.
Probably.
Have fun with that.
So I'm just saying he wasn't given the tools to succeed, and he succeeded somewhat anyway. There have been coaches that have done worse that have stuck around longer.
Yeah,
so
which is a shame. But there you go. I wanted to keep you up to date on that. A interesting lawsuit that will be bubbling as Brian Flores officially sues the NFL for racial discrimination. That won't go anywhere anytime soon. But for right now, we have to go away for a couple minutes. We got to take a break, but don't go anywhere because we still have entertainment news and then the non-fortune cookie odd news still to come. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby,
Barnes & Noble,
and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
Yes, already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on?
I don't know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh, my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder. I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We did a whole lot of sports there.
Yep.
But, hey, this is the home stretch for the NFL season. And next week we'll have all of the prop betting information and all of the final Super Bowl. Yeah,
I love the prop betting. I always forget that we do that.
Yeah, so next week's episode is going to have a great sports sampler that you definitely need to tune in, especially if you're going to go to a Super Bowl party or anything related to the big game. Definitely tune in next week. But right now we're going to switch gears and let's go to the entertainment world in the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, well, I'm kicking it off because I have a massive Star Wars topic I need to get off my chest.
All right.
Minor spoilers, but if you're watching the Star Wars series. I bet you're probably a big fan anyway. So, I mean, not a total big spoiler, but I guess it's somewhat spoilish. Referring to the Book of Boba Fett here.
It's a spoiler. Ooh, it's a spoiler. Don't listen. Go away.
Yeah, so I got to talk about what happened in Book of Boba Fett. Because I've just never seen anything like this. So we're now, as of this recording, we're 5 episodes into the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
And the first 4 episodes was all about Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc pit, how he got back to health, how he's trying to establish his criminal empire. Goody, goody, goody. All right, I get it. May not be the most interesting thing. I know a lot of people are kind of bored with it. I know you are not a big fan of Boba Fett.
I'm not interested in the show at all, so yeah.
Right, so, there's been kind of a lukewarm response. Well, all of a sudden, in this last episode, the 5th episode, they decide to throw a whole episode devoted to the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, his character specifically.
Interesting.
So, the series is called The Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
And episode 5 of this series has no Boba Fett in it.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
So, has this ever happened? Has anything like this
to my knowledge, if there's a crossover in a show, they're always bringing another character or plotline into like the existing show. They don't just completely cut away to follow a completely different thing.
So look, they're probably going to do that. That's probably what's going to happen in the next episode.
But the way you described it to me, from start to finish, every single second of the episode is just Mandalorian.
Yes.
There's no Boba Fett. Is there any reference to Boba Fett stuff?
At the very end.
At the very end?
So you have
to watch, 45 minutes to get to 45 seconds
of Boba Fett? Yeah.
That's weird.
This episode should have been the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
That's how much intensive it was on The Mandalorian. It really does not make any sense. I liken this to like if you watch Seinfeld in the original run and then randomly in like the 4th season they throw in an episode of Friends. Like, what? Did they live in the same apartment building? What why is this here? It's like somebody took a DVD. It's like you got a season a TV show of season 1 and randomly one of the discs is not the show. It's like another show. It's like what happened here? Am I still watching the same show?
Yeah.
So
that's
it was
super weird.
It's so bizarre. I have encountered anything like this. Now, to its credit, the episode is very good.
Okay.
It's actually probably the best episode out of the 5 episodes.
Which is on the one hand odd and on the other hand concerning.
Yes, for the rest of the show. But it's so just weird and so just like egregious.
Yeah.
Like maybe we had a feeling that this wasn't going to be as well received. So here you go. Here's a free bonus episode of Mandalorian packed in the middle of this to make you feel better.
It's like I understand that they want to try and, use their popular properties to draw in viewers. But you're right. It seems like now I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but it seems a very blatant attempt, to try and sweeten the deal when they know it's not going to be that enticing. Because here's my perspective on Boba Fett, and I know you disagree with me. I know a lot of Star Wars fans disagree with me, but I'm also a Star Wars fan. I don't get Boba Fett. I don't understand. The dude has maybe 4 lines of dialogue in, like, the entire original trilogy.
4 lines, yeah.
Is it 4 lines? And in the prequel trilogy, he's a kid.
Yes.
So, and not only does he only have 4 lines of dialogue, but he has, like, maybe 1.5 fight scenes, and he immediately dies in the second one. Like, immediately dies. He's like, I'm here to stop the good guys, and then gets blasted in the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
so
by a blind Han Solo.
Right, so I don't understand people like, Boba Fett's amazing. I'm like, the guy who died in a sand pit with teeth?
So
I know he obviously doesn't die, which,
right,
huge retcon, obnoxiously so, but, I mean, in The Mandalorian, it was fun. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, he's back.
So,
but like, I don't want a series out of him. He does. I don't. He's not a character. He's a.
So look. So here's my critique on your Boba Fett critique.
Okay. A critique on a critique.
So to me, what makes Boba Fett cool is the armor and the style and his intimidation.
He's a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
So like
he's not a character. He's not an individual. He's an idea.
So like that's the thing is like he's one of those things like the less I know about him, the better he is.
So doesn't it seem like a whole series devoted to him is kind of antithetical to what he's supposed to be?
Yeah, which is why I think this series isn't getting the praise that The Mandalorian and the other one have.
Because I think if fans were honest with themselves, they'd realize they don't actually like the character of Boba Fett because there is no character of Boba Fett.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
I'm saying that we love Boba Fett, but it's because he's supposed to be mysterious. He's supposed to be...
You love Boba Fett as an idea. What is this? What are his defining character traits in the original trilogy?
That he's a silent badass that he's going to get the job done kind of guy. Like I don't give a and also independent. That like, hey, like Vader, you can do whatever you want, but I better be compensated.
But that's not meat to make a series.
Right. I'm agreeing with you.
I know. Yeah,
I am. But I'm saying initially, what makes him cool is the fact that he's kind of a lone wolf. He's his own thing.
Right.
You don't know anything about him. Like that was his appeal.
But he's a tertiary. He's a tertiary character.
Yeah, and now it's like this whole new series is kind of souring on all this. Like it doesn't really go anywhere with it. And the fact that they had to pull in the Mandalorian and give you a whole free episode of the Mandalorian in the middle of this, it kind of it doesn't bode well for the Boba Fett series.
Disney, I think at this point, I think you'll agree with me here, is mismanaging its Star Wars property a little bit.
Yes.
Because they thought that what fans wanted was just pure nostalgia. And to a certain degree, it is, because people loved Rise of Skywalker. Fans loved it. Critics hated it because I thought it was a god-awful movie.
A lot of people did hate it, too.
But for some reason, the fan reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are like, it's the best thing ever because Ghost Han Solo came back. Spoiler alert, I don't care.
Yeah, no, Rise of Skywalker was not good.
It was trash.
Yeah.
It was trash. I think Disney thinks that, just having nostalgia is enough. But it's clearly not. Because you can't make a series out of a non-character and expect people to latch onto it. That's why they had to devote an entire episode to an actual character in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. It's a little disconcerting.
I think it's very damning that it had to happen.
Yeah.
I think it speaks
that's the
volumes.
best episode so far.
There you go. Right from the top fan's mouth.
It is. So, unfortunately, it's just, I don't know.
Now, what I'm concerned about as a Star Wars fan is I don't want to have to watch this trash series in order to get Mandalorian Season 3. And I feel like I'm going to be forced to, kind of like they do with Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, you're at least going to have to start with this episode in order to figure out what happens in the Season 3, whenever Season 3 happens for Mandalorian.
Right.
Because literally this episode, it was just so blatant.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that gets me. Like, I don't mind you tying in or going back and forth and everything like that. But literally, from start to finish, this was an entire Mandalorian episode.
Right.
In the middle of the Boba Fett series. So that doesn't make any sense.
This is the example that I gave when we were talking before the show for fantasy fans. I said Game of Thrones was a show that had an ensemble cast and multiple main characters. And you routinely had to cut back and forth between main characters and sometimes have episodes that predominantly featured a specific main character. What they didn't do was call it the Jon Snow show.
Right.
And randomly have an episode that was 99% devoted to some other random character from a different fantasy series in the middle of it.
Yep.
Right. There's a right and a wrong way to do character jumps and perspective shifts, and I feel like Boba Fett did it incorrectly.
Right. They did this very weird. I'm just surprised. I really thought, I don't know, there was a better way to handle this.
Yeah.
So there you go. We'll find out. Probably from here on out now, it's going to be mandatory watching.
Well, that sucks.
Because now
I didn't want to watch it.
Because now it's Mandalorian season 2.5. That's really what this is going to boil down to.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you better start watching. This is it now.
Is it any good at all? Because I really didn't want to watch.
fine.
I really did. I have zero interest in Boba Fett as a
I know
character.
you don't like Boba Fett, so
I know.
I don't know. But me, I was going along for the ride of it. I thought it was all right. I wasn't like enthralled with it.
I'm gonna have to watch the show like a
but
bantha.
now, like a bantha. Yeah, you're gonna have to. But now you're gonna. Yeah, this is now officially Mandalorian season 2.5.
Awesome.
So,
all right.
There you go. All right, so with that piece of news, now that I gave Mike something to watch, Mike is going to give everybody else something to watch this weekend with movies, TV, and video games with Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, what are you going to tell us that we should watch?
That was a goddamn transition if I ever heard one. That was amazing.
Thank you.
So this week in entertainment, first up in film, I just had to praise that. Sorry for
Thank you.
sidetrack.
Thank
But
you.
first up in film, we have a new supernatural horror film called The Black Phone. It's hitting theaters this week. A young boy is abducted and held captive in a soundproof basement by a masked killer when a disconnected phone in the basement begins ringing. The boy answers the phone to discover he can hear the voices of the killer's past victims. So pretty interesting and dark right there. It's got decent reviews on Metacritic right now, hovering around the high 70s, which is pretty good for a horror film.
I like the premise of that. That's interesting.
It's a cool premise, right? So go check it out. The Black Phone hitting theaters this week. If you want something a bit less intense but just as mindless, check out Moonfall, a disaster film about the moon, as the title suggests. When something knocks the moon out of orbit on a collision course with Earth, a team of scientists is joined by a conspiracy theorist, and they must work together to prevent disaster, but they end up discovering that the moon is not what it appears to be. So go check out Moonfall. The budget was $140 million. It's the most expensive independent film ever created. So there you
That's a little worrying.
Yeah. So there you
Good
go.
luck.
The Black Phone and Moonfall in theaters this week. But if you want to stay in the cold weather, I got a TV show for you to check out. This one sounds super creative. Murderville premieres this week on Netflix and continues the new trend of murder mystery comedies, but with a unique twist. See, Will Arnett plays a detective who has to solve a different murder case each episode. And alongside him, he gets a new guest star partner every week. The twist, though, the guest stars on the show were not given scripts and had to improvise their parts while trying to guess who committed the crime. Guest stars include Kumail Nanjiani, Conan O'Brien, Annie Murphy, Sharon Stone, Ken Jeong, and Marshawn Lynch. This is going to be a riot.
Wow, that's an interesting group of
A
characters.
completely improvised part on a murder mystery comedy. Go check it out. That's Murderville on Netflix. And finally, in video games, a new month equals new free games for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold subscribers. This month, PlayStation users get Planet Coaster. I can personally vouch for how amazing that game is. It's a fantastic park builder with incredibly deep and customizable rides, decorations, and set pieces. So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty granular of where to place each individual flower and each individual sign in your park, go check out Planet Coaster. The possibilities are literally endless. And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, Mikey, thank you for that segment this week in entertainment. All right, now we're going to talk more video game news. I know you wanted to talk about this the moment the news story on this broke, as Sony responds to Microsoft's acquisition of Activision.
Yep.
Instead, Sony announced that they are going to pull some other companies into this as well.
Yeah, so the big one, obviously, well, first let's get a small announcement out of the way. Sony is integrating further with Discord. Everybody likes to use Discord as a chat service and chat client, and so PlayStation is going to integrate with Discord. They're going to start pulling games to display on your Discord. I guess it shows what games you're currently playing on PlayStation, and they say that further and deeper integration is coming later this year. But small announcement out of the side. Everyone's excited about that, but what people have been really going crazy over is the fact that Sony has purchased Destiny developer and former Halo developer Bungie for $3.6 billion.
There you go. That was a Microsoft executive.
Yeah, so I just want to point out before we get into the specifics here.
I'm getting mileage on this.
You really are. That's exactly what happened in like their like monthly their month end meeting or whatever. They heard that and they just throw a chair out the window.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, Willem Dafoe.
He is a treasure.
Yes.
I do want to point out real quick before we get into the specifics that I find it interesting that Microsoft now owns the company who owns Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, and Sony now owns the company who once developed Halo.
Yeah.
So they kind of like swapped.
This is like a weird trade or something.
It's like a weird trade. Now, to be clear to everyone out there, no, PlayStation does not get Halo. Bungie does not own Halo. Microsoft does. But PlayStation does get all that incredible talent. And that's what this deal is about. Because if you look at the specifics, it's interesting. The announcement specifically states, this is right there in bold on PlayStation blog, legendary developer to join PlayStation as independent multi-platform studio and publisher. Okay? So they're not purchasing them as a developer to churn out more Uncharted's and Horizons and God of War's, even though that would be great. They're purchasing them as it states they're independent multi-platform studio and publisher. And they specifically cited Bungie's experience in live service games, first-person shooter knowledge, and multiplayer experience and expertise. So I think this is Sony trying to find an answer to Microsoft routinely having some of the best first-person shooters on the market. So obviously, everybody's always trying to find a quote-unquote Halo killer. PlayStation struggled to create one in Killzone, so now they're like, why don't we just buy Bungie, who has a ton of experience with Destiny. Destiny brings in several $100 million a year through microtransactions and DLC as a live service game. And PlayStation wants to aggressively enter that arena. They want to go into live service. They want to look at, they're trying to push games onto PC, so they're interested in multi-platform stuff. And Bungie is just a further extension of that current strategy. I find that really interesting, though, that they're openly saying independent multi-platform studio and publisher.
Yeah.
That's quite unique, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting description to describe this purchase. I just think, do you think this officially now kicks off like a company buying asset war between Microsoft and Sony?
So
is it going to be like every week we're going to have like, now Microsoft is going to buy this company. Oh, Sony's going to buy this company.
I actually do think that that's what's about to happen. So to be clear, this was not in response to Microsoft and buying Activision. Everybody's saying that, and it feels like it is. This deal's been in the work, according to the reports, about 5 or 6 months, so many, many months. But you have to imagine that expedited the process, right? Like even if the deal had been in the works for many months, when Microsoft made that announcement, you have to imagine Sony being like, okay, we need to get this done.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, when we had the news break last week that Microsoft bought Activision, Sony's stock price plummeted.
Right. And, outside the stock price, which is really the only thing that matters to companies.
Unfortunately.
But outside the stock price, you have to think of Activision owning the biggest first-person shooter in Call of Duty. So now Microsoft has Halo and Call of Duty. And all of a sudden, PlayStation is going, what are shooter fans supposed to play on PlayStation consoles?
Yep.
So, that kind of probably incentivized them to get this deal done. But to answer your question, I do think that this is going to spark a purchasing war. The great video game consolidation is underway. Microsoft bought Bethesda and Activision. Sony bought a couple of smaller developers. Now they're buying Bungie. And PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan has gone on record as saying that we should expect more when he was asked about other acquisitions. So PlayStation and Sony are looking to actively acquire other studios, developers, publishers to further build out their roster. Not only that, but big game journalist and host of the Video Game Awards, Jeff Keighley, has also said that he's heard that there are many other acquisitions in the works. And that it's going to be a big year for acquisitions. There could be some shocking ones. So, of course, people are wildly speculating online. They're throwing around names like Square Enix, who does Final Fantasy, Capcom, who does Street Fighter, Konami with Silent Hill, From Software, who does like Bloodborne. The one that I would like is Remedy, who makes Control. I think that'd be a great acquisition. Obviously, the one that I want the most is Take-Two, who's the parent company of Rockstar and companies like that. But I think they're too big. And I
hope so.
I thought Activision was too big.
I mean, I don't know.
Lately, I think Take-Two's too big for Sony. I don't know if they're too big for Microsoft, which is what I'm worried about.
Lately, we've been throwing around, money terms like $80 billion. I mean, it's getting to be monopoly money anyway at this point.
Yeah. So I hope that. I also think, and people made this point online. What do you think about this? That Sony doesn't really get anything new here in terms of any changes to content, because Bungie says all of their games up through at least 2024 are going to stay multi-platform. They're going to be on Xbox, they're going to be on PC, what have you. So people are saying there's no initial difference here. And so people are suggesting maybe they're just buying companies to prevent Microsoft from buying them and making them exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a real legitimate counter move here, yeah.
So I'm sure that might have something to do with it as well. But what I really like and what I think is happening is I think they are just being really aggressive with modernizing the PlayStation brand. So we've seen that they're pushing into entertainment with TV shows and movies. Sony, of course, has a film and TV division, like the parent company. So, I've always wondered, why don't
Uncharted coming out soon.
Right, exactly. Last of Us on HBO. Why haven't they done more of that? They're also doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie now. So they might be looking to acquire companies like Bungie, who has something like Destiny with a huge world and lots of lore that they could make a series out of, or maybe Remedy, where they could make movies out of Control. They have a film and television division. They're probably looking to deepen that integration between the branches of their parent company. And we do know they're pushing into PC, so they're interested in taking games multi-platform, not just, small games, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, big games they want to bring to PC. So again, having Bungie be multi-platform and still work independently, is them, I guess, sort of saying, like, we're interested in, reaching as many people as possible, especially with live service games, because that's where the money is. People buying microtransactions and DLC and playing a game for 2, 3, 4 years, not just, 60 hours and then boxing it up. They want people coming back to it and constantly engaging with it. And this is heading in that direction. So it'll be very interesting to see how Sony integrates Bungie and what exactly their plans are for them, because they mention them as a publisher as well. So publishing other games. It's not just a developer. It's not just Naughty Dog. They're publishing as well. They're helping other developers. So really interesting move by Sony's part. I can't wait to see what else is in the works. Like I said, I'd really love it if Sony bought something like a Take-Two, because I'm afraid that Microsoft is going to buy them, and I don't want to have to buy an Xbox and a Switch and a PlayStation and a PC, and
you may have to just go PC at that point.
Yeah, I know, which I don't want to do, but.
Well, we'll see what the future holds in that. But for right now, we got to switch gears and leave the entertainment world and instead go to the third and final portion of the show, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for hell, right?
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing the story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen, because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. and I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to? What's happening? Who's happening? Why is it happening? When's it happening? How is it happening?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions for this story here.
Okay.
So originally it takes place in Connecticut.
Okay.
But I will say Florida is an element of this story somehow.
Florida is ever present.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yeah, so this is weird.
Florida is never far from our hearts and minds.
Right. It's always looming.
It's always looming. Okay.
It's always there. Yeah.
So it takes place in Connecticut, but Florida is looming.
Yeah.
What happened?
This may be a real life case of Home Alone. I didn't want this one. This is like the emotional one. I wanted the mischievous one.
That's awesome. You're like, I didn't want this one.
I pulled up the wrong Home Alone theme.
Oh no.
Well.
Oh no.
Like I wanted like that mischievous one.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. All right. Well, I'll vamp about. You have the whole 20th Century Fox playing now.
I'm trying to get the.
I'll vamp about Home Alone until you find it. Home Alone is
it's not.
a
That's the same one. I can't win. All right. I can't get it. I thought I had the right one up.
Look up Home Alone mischievous or something.
Trying to add a description.
Home Alone is a fantastic movie, but did you guys know that there's like actually 5 or 6 Home Alones?
Oh God, yeah.
See, now I was under the impression that it was only like the first 2, and I know they made like a terrible third one that had a different kid, but that's also not.
This is also setting the trap theme music. Why is?
I mean, this is not bad.
No, but like I didn't know like this had a separate theme.
I mean, this is good.
I guess it is. But I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah.
This is when he's setting up the traps in the houses.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Anyway, I don't know. We went down a Home Alone hole. You know, it's not going to happen.
We're just not going to have an audio bed.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No audio bed. All right. There you go. Welcome to the Odd News.
Where anything can happen.
Yes.
So do. I don't know. It's like hum Christmas music.
No. Yeah.
No. So what happened with Macaulay Culkin and what's the character's name?
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister. Do we have a Kevin McAllister? What's happening here? Somebody got left somewhere?
Yes. So a Connecticut teacher decided to leave her 2 children at home alone because she wanted to go to Florida to vacation with her boyfriend.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
Oh, yeah.
I have to ask. Now, how old were the kids? Because I have a feeling this wouldn't be a story if the kids were like, in their teens.
No.
But I have a feeling they are not.
No. 36-year-old Carrie Kaveska was arrested Saturday on reckless endangerment charges. She was arrested because she took a 3-day trip to Florida in November. Police began investigating after her ex-husband reported that the children were left alone, ages 11 and 9, by themselves.
That's a little young to leave them alone for 3 days.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, that's way too young. You can't do that.
Oh no, you cannot leave kids. I'm thinking about like my younger cousins, and they're like only a few years younger than that, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Again, this is doubly shocking as she is a teacher herself. So,
oh my God, what age are her students?
Right. She is a middle school teacher in the Waterbury School District.
Same age.
Yes, and she thought that they were capable of.
So she teaches a class of 20 to 30 10-year-olds.
Yes.
All day.
Yes.
Anybody who's worked with children know that children are the actual worst.
It should not be left alone.
It should not be left alone under any circumstances. You leave a classroom for more than 5 minutes, something's on fire, something's out the window, bad things are happening, and she just leaves her 2 children home alone, knowing full well what kids that age do when left alone for more than like an hour.
'Cause you done goofed.
Yes. So
she didn't take a small trip.
No, she took a 3-day extended weekend.
So Connecticut to Florida is a really long way away.
Yes, it is.
Like, and most people probably have a mental map of the U.S. in their heads. Like, think about Connecticut and Florida. Like, she's not like, oh, I'm taking like a quick, like, you know, I'm going to, I don't know, to the shore town like an hour away in Connecticut. Like she's like leaving.
Yeah.
Like leaving.
Leaving. Yeah.
Like this is like a 3+ hour plane ride all the way down the East Coast. Like she's gone.
Yeah.
Like she can't come back quickly.
So you may be wondering, did she leave any sort of, you know, hints or, you know, helpful tidbits or something for the kids?
Instructions or
something? Yeah, you know, just buy, like, you know, something like that.
Oh, man.
The ex-husband provided text that she sent as she was leaving from Connecticut to her kids, explaining what was happening.
Wait, what? Hey, Billy, listen, Mom's going to be gone for 3 days. I'm going to be half a country away. There's frozen pizza in the...
Oh, no, it's not even that. No, So the children asked, where will you be? She said, I'm going away for the weekend. I request that both of you stay in the basement until I return.
What? This sounds like the movie I talked about in Entertainment Entree. She's locking an 11-year-old kid in the soundproof basement.
But she's not doing that either. She's telling them, you go just stay in the basement. I got to go. Like, she's not actually doing anything.
Wait.
Just stay down there.
But for 3 days? Do they have food? Do they have clothes? Are they not allowed upstairs? Do they have to sleep in the basement? What's happening?
I'm glad you brought up food because the next question that the 11-year-old texted back was, what shall we do for dinner?
Oh, my God, these poor kids.
And she texted back, I got you a box of candy. Here you go.
A box of candy?
A box of candy. That'll last the entire 3 days.
What in the hell is going to be gone in 3 hours? And that's not a meal. Oh, man.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
She teaches children. She is in charge of children as a profession.
Yes.
And she went to... You can't just teach. You can't just walk into a school and be like, I'm just gonna handle kids. You have to go to school for 4 years, usually get an advanced degree. Then you have to get background checked. Then you got to do all sorts of other hoops and tests and things to be around children. How did she do that?
Yeah.
And then think that leaving an 11-year-old in charge of a 9-year-old in the basement
with a box of candy.
They're apparently not allowed to go upstairs or sleep in their beds in this scenario. And with a box of what candy?
I just said a box of candy.
Was it good candy?
I just said a box of candy.
Because that might completely change my perspective.
But she said that'll be your dinner. So there you go.
So what about the other days?
More candy? I don't know.
There's 3 meals over the course of 3. That's 9 meals, Rich. I'm so upset. I'm so heated right now.
The 11-year-old also texted, do we go to school on Monday?
Oh, my God.
And she texted back, no, you don't have to worry about it.
What in the hell is happening?
She's a teacher.
Oh, man.
No, you don't have to go. No, just stay in the basement. 3 days.
We're very early into 2022, and it is making a stellar... a brilliant debut here at the beginning of February. Also, this trip is a 3-day trip, and she's going to be gone Monday?
Yes. Oh, so I got it wrong. It was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's 3 days. So I guess she left Friday
she's
night.
Get back Tuesday? Or she's getting back Monday?
Maybe getting back late Monday night.
Oh, my God. At least go for the weekend. Don't make your kids miss school, lady. Also, don't feed them candy. Also, don't leave them for 3 days.
She's a teacher.
That is the worst part of this. She should not be allowed to teach. I'm just going to say it.
So at one point during the weekend, the 11-year-old also said, also texted, I'm sad. My battery for my toy ran out. Can I please go upstairs?
Are you? Oh, my God. That is so sad. What did she say?
Cavalscalia replied, yes, but run super fast and stay low to the ground so no one sees you through the window.
I'm in complete disbelief right now because she knows what she did was so incredibly effed up, and she doesn't want anybody to know.
Stay to the ground.
Her kids are there.
Stay low to the ground.
Man, that is so wrong.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, that is ridiculous. Also, that poor kid just playing. I just imagine this kid down there just playing with this one, like, battery-operated toy, eating candy. I want to know, is this basement finished, or is it like a cold basement with, like, a concrete slab floor? Like, man, this woman is awful.
Yes.
That's insanity. And she teaches. I just can't get over the fact that she teaches children. What does she teach them? They're going to come out dumber than when they went in.
Here's another follow-up on the food issue.
Okay.
On Sunday night, the 11-year-old texted that they had finished the entire box of candy.
No kidding.
And that's when Kavaska ordered Uber Eats for the children.
I mean, I guess that's a solution.
But you're also telling them they can't leave the basement.
Yeah, how are they gonna? How are they gonna get the food? Yeah,
right. Like
now she's giving conflicting instructions.
Yeah.
So what'd she get them? Was it something good? Was it more candy?
Yeah, was it more candy?
It was just like Uber Eats from like 7-Eleven or like Wawa.
Yeah. At this rate, you're already messed everything up. More candy.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
She left them a box. Like, here's the thing I don't understand. It would have been just as easy to buy. Now, I'm not condoning any of this, by the way. I feel like I should say that. But if you're going to abandon your kids for 3 days, it's
just FYI.
If you're planning on it, like a box of cereal.
Yeah, box of cereal.
Like actual food. Like, here's a box of cereal. Here's like other
Rice-A-Roni.
Like, right, there's other things. You could buy like a box of like snack bars. You know, like Nutri-Grain bars. You could buy a box of cereal. You could buy, I don't know, like literally anything. A box of candy.
Yeah.
Then she orders them Uber Eats.
And then Uber Eats.
Lovely. What did she do for Monday?
I guess she did another Uber Eats.
Oh my God, these poor kids.
And then the worst part is, this is, like, obviously kids and everything, but literally this is an entire, like, there's no investigation now. Everything is on text message. We know exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no investigation to this.
Right. It's signed, sealed, delivered. Like it's the texts are all you need.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, no, because clearly, so she has an ex-husband.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So, like, clearly she's trying to keep this from him, because if she were going out of town, she would have been like, hey, by the way, our children
are alone in the basement.
With no food.
Can you check up on them?
Can you just peek in, once in a while, like around like noon each day, just check, make sure they're not dead.
Yeah, make sure they're not dead.
So she's actively, like, she knows what she's doing is wrong. That's why she told them to literally hide in the basement. I'm so annoyed. And then she doesn't tell the ex-husband.
Right.
So this is willful negligence and maliciousness. That is, and it's all caught on text message. So
everything about this story is just plain wrong.
This episode's been bookended by cases that have been incriminated via text message. Brian Flores.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his lady.
There you go. Yeah. It's all text messaging. It's
the lesson, folks. Nothing incriminating in text messages.
If you're going to be a criminal, don't text.
If you're going to be a criminal, don't text.
Or you're going to be a piss poor mother, don't text.
Yeah, right.
So police had to investigate after the ex-husband reported that she had left the children 9 and 11 during that weekend. Police arrested her and charged her with reckless endangerment.
Yep.
And risk of injury.
Yep.
She was free on a $5,000 bond, but
that's
she will.
It?
Yeah, that's all she got.
That's it?
That's all she got. $5,000 bond.
You can abandon your kids for a weekend and only have to pay $5,000 because you only have to pay 10% of that, so it's really only $500. That's amazing. That's a really cheap
penalty.
Why are some crimes so cheap?
Again,
I don't. We need to. Is there? Do we need to contact a judge? Like, how do we figure this out?
We need to call a judge or a lawyer. We're gonna have them on. I forgot about this. We got to do this. Somebody hold me to this.
Somebody does anybody listening? Are you a judge?
We need to.
God, can't imagine.
We need to get a judge or a lawyer and interview them, and we need to ask, how does this? What are the rules?
I don't understand.
For setting
Like, a
bond?
man whips out his penis, and they're like, "Oh my God, $50,000." She actively abandons her children with candy for 3 days, and they're like, just like pay us whatever you got lying around.
She left him candy, $5,000.
Well, if she hadn't left him any food, that would have been, at least $6,000.
Yeah, here's candy.
But she gave him candy, so it's a $1,000 discount. Like, I want to know how this works.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start reaching out to judges and be like, "Look, crazy idea.
We need
to talk.
Your opinion."
Yeah.
Yep. But that is in advance of a future court hearing. So her trouble's just beginning.
Any word on whether she's allowed to continue teaching? It's
no.
like, sorry, children. Miss whatever her name is, Kanaveska, she's not going to be in school anymore because she abandoned her children.
Yeah.
Like, how do you...
I would have to imagine that, she's not going to be employed at that school any longer.
That's wild.
I would hope so.
Man, could you imagine if you were a parent at that school and, like, you found out that one of the teachers was that wildly negligent?
Yeah.
How does she run a classroom?
Right, yeah. Like, hey, I'm going to go watch a YouTube video for 30 minutes. You guys teach yourselves.
She's like, I'm going to go grab a lunch. And she just, like, goes to a restaurant for 2 hours. like, how does she... Maybe she doesn't teach. Maybe she just sits there and, like, plays games on her phone, and the kids, like, she's just, like, read chapters 1 through 3.
Here, guys, learn about, like, the states or whatever. I got to go to get my sushi for lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna go take in a quick matinee. She's like, they're showing the extended cut of Lord of the Rings. I'll be back in 4 hours.
Yeah, guys, just read up on the states.
Yeah, right.
Read about your state capitals.
I don't like. It's
Here's
wild.
a candy bar.
Here's a candy bar. Right. It's like, Miss, there's a cafeteria. No, you have to stay in the basement of the school with your box of candy.
Well, there you go.
That's insanity.
True story. She thought she could just put the kids in the basement.
Put the kid. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. And here's a box of candy.
Yeah, a box of candy. Man.
There you go. And Uber Eats.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can't forget about the Uber Eats. Those poor kids. I hope at least it was good candy.
Yeah.
Like if you had to be abandoned for 3 days with nothing but a box of candy, what candy would you want? Like, you can only eat the candy for 3 days. A tough question.
Hershey's dark chocolate.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I'm
like
going.
the dark chocolate.
I'm going anything Reese's, peanut butter cups,
Reese's
Fast Break. Yeah,
Reese's is good. Swedish Fish.
Ooh,
that'd be a good
how
one.
quickly do you want to die? Because that's literally just red sugar pressed into a shape.
Look, these are
it's
kids.
So good. They're kids. They're literally like bouncing off the walls.
Look, they're staying in the basement.
Right, exactly. It's like
and
a
then they
pinball.
crash.
Right.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. It's like a little pinball machine in there. Yeah. I would do Reese's. I would hope I get something Reese's.
Yep.
If I had to be abandoned for 3 days with candy.
There you go.
Let us know what you'd like to be abandoned with for 3 days.
And if you're worried about being a mother, there you go. At least you're not that level.
You have to actually work to be that bad.
Yeah.
Like, that takes effort.
Yeah. It's so much effort. Going in the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. True story there in the Non-Fortune Cookie Odd News. Oh, man. Mother of the Year right there.
Oh, easily.
Yep. Well, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more crazy, outrageous stories, go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun candy boxes of knowledge.
In addition to all the candy boxes of knowledge you can find on our social media, you can also subscribe to the Candy Box on YouTube, and you find video versions of the podcast there, but you can also get the audio version of the podcast by subscribing to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or Amazon, or on Amazon devices. So we're everywhere. So make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. We also have a SoundCloud page where we have mini noodles. Check that out for also little interesting candy bits from our past in the vault.
That's right. So many ways to eat the candy of the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to reach us individually on Twitter.
Or maybe your Uber Eats or maybe the Crispy Noodle.
Yeah. I'm so confused with this analogy. Help me understand the analogy by reaching out to us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeYCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Twitter. Let us know what's happening. Let us know if you've got any bets ready to go for Super Bowl Sunday in 2 weeks, not this weekend, the following weekend. Let us know if there's any odd news stories you want us to cover. Send that my way, or any other topics you want us to talk about. And if we do, we'll give you a Crispy Noodle shout out. So make sure you do that. But for right now, we got to start wrapping this up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. You got any other candy tidbits to share?
No. Don't abandon your kids with candy.
Yeah, not a good way to be a mother.
No.
But that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, see you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine people.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.